Hi, Coach.
All right. What's up?
Well, we'll let you go ahead and lead off and talk a little bit about what happened earlier today and what Bob didn't see, and then we can go into questions from everybody.
All right. Well, it was our first scrimmage. Obviously, a lot of excitement yesterday. We kind of backed off a little bit Thursday. Got them ready to hopefully physically and mentally show up today. And I will say that I thought our guys, nobody backed down from anything. There wasn't any lack of energy, lack of heart, lack of intensity. Everybody was pretty into it, I thought. Had officials there, actually were able to allow our families, I let the players' families, got permission from the university, and were able to make that happen, which I think was a nice added addition. We talk a lot about family here, so I wanted to start off with that. I think we had quite a few of the people that could got here from the surrounding communities for their sons, which was kind of cool. The way the scrimmage laid out, we really just focused on first and second down. We didn't do any third down. We went first and second down, a rack of 48 plays out in the field, and then went down in the red area and basically had a rack of 32 plays. 36 plays down in the red area. It was, again, first and second down. We've worked some third down here through the first 2 weeks, but I really wanted the scrimmage to just be about early down success and teaching these guys a game of football. So went normal out in the field, went down in the red area, had some good production, worked the punting game as well as the field goal team. Thought it was great. James McCourt went 7 for 7 his field goals at the end of the scrimmage, or the second half of the scrimmage when we practiced it and repped it. Caleb Griffin has also been good. He just was working at wide receiver, so he wasn't going to sub back and forth. So James took that and did an unbelievable opportunity with that. So a lot of positives, quite a bit to clean up, different things that we got to address with each position group. But good news is we got 3 weeks ahead of us. Bad news, 2 weeks is behind us. Can't do anything about that. So we'll jump into it Tuesday and see where we go.
All right, we'll go ahead and let Joey lead off, and Alec and Robert and Jeremy on down the line here. So go ahead, Joey.
Hey, good afternoon, Brett. I'm just curious, what kind of feedback did you get from the players, and why was it so important for you to get the parents in here, right now, and to give them a chance to kind of see how things are progressing?
Well, first off, with the parents, it was just as these restrictions have loosened up a little bit, we started some conversations about our spring game on the 19th, and I just asked the question, if we started off this Saturday with just basically the ability for immediate family of our players to show up, would that be okay with the university? And we just ran it up the flagpole and got where we needed to get. So we kind of treated it like a game. They had to send in the names of their family to be coming. We had a little system set up, and they had, of course, socially distanced out in the stands. So that was really, we talk a lot about family. Obviously, I've been here since late December and have added a few guys, but a lot of these kids and these parents I don't know. And unfortunately, I couldn't go talk to them because of COVID restrictions, but I'm going to always stress family, and there's no better way to do that than allow kids' families to come here, especially with the Easter weekend. So had a little Easter celebration dinner after the scrimmage. After our film, we brought in a special meal. The Easter Bunny even showed up, so we had full-fledged Easter spirit around. But as far as excitement around, the scrimmage, there was great juice in the building yesterday. I knew there was going to be great juice out there today. I thought our guys really, competed. I think defense always probably has a little bit of an advantage early on. Just, they get to line up, strike, and hit. We did play tackle football, but it was all high tackles and no low blocks. So the advantage would be in the defensive hand, and I thought they showed up with that way. But offense did some good things. Certain guys showed up, so a lot of positives.
And it looked like Marquez Beeson was working out with wide receivers. Is this a position switch that you at all? Do you expect it to change? And if so, why was this the right move?
Yeah, so Beast, obviously been playing corner. Had played corner all the way through Thursday's practice. He was actually held out a little bit of Tuesday's practice. And then Thursday he jumped into it and called me basically late Thursday night. If it was 7 or 8, I finally reached out to him, and he asked, about the possibility of playing wide receiver. I checked with Coach, really with the defensive coaches, with Coach Walters and Coach Henry, and they said that if he wanted to try wide out, that was fine by them, and reached out to Coach Peterson and Gio as well, and Coach McDonald, and there was no objection to it, so we put him in the offensive meetings on Friday morning. I know Gio met with him a little bit last night, a little bit before the meeting today. He was a little bit limited when he was out there. George was out there kind of telling him exactly what to do, but put him in a wide receiver number 81, and see what he could do. Through the first day, wasn't anything either way. I think obviously he's a very talented athlete. He's got a lot of skills, and wherever he can help us win, we'll eventually hopefully get him there.
And just to be clear, do you expect this to be a permanent move?
Don't know. Moved him yesterday and let him play today. My guess is if he has success, he'll want to stay there. My guess if he has failure, he'll probably want to go back. But we'll let him figure that part out. I've never really mandated guys move. I've asked a lot of players in the past to move positions if they were hesitant. I didn't ever make a move. There's other times where I've asked guys to move. They've been hesitant, and they more than not have had great success. And if they don't, usually a good player that has pride, he figures out what he can do best, and that usually ends up being the same thing we usually want together.
Thank you, Bret.
Yep.
Hey, Coach, kind of following off of Joey's questions there. You've moved a couple guys, or I guess I shouldn't say you've moved. The players have moved different positions. Preston Angle is just one, and you've moved a quarterback to tight end as well. How much of spring ball is just kind of learning more about these players and the positions that you guys think they might naturally fit in best in what you're trying to do scheme-wise?
It's a great question, Alec. Really. So, I think the first guy was Beetham, right? We moved him from a quarterback to tight end, and he was eager as heck to do it. I think he realized that that's probably a better chance for him to see the field. Still got a long way to go physically, but I think he's been excited about the move. Preston Angle, I brought him in. It's something that I kind of thought about during the winter phase of conditioning, and then through about 4 or 5 practices, I could see that it was something that he wasn't, not that he wasn't going to be able to do, but just the center position, his size, his pure numbers weren't going to be able to play winning Big Ten football there. But his great effort, great energy, the guys love him. So we moved him to that tight end H position, and he's been awesome. When I suggested it to him, I could barely get it out of my mouth before he agreed to do it. Right, he just wants to get on the field. So really, great energy, great work ethic. I'm very excited to see where that can go. And then I really think that's been about it. But there'll be more to come. I got a couple in the back of my mind. I wanted to get through 2 weeks. Anybody that moved right now was really on their turn, not their turns, but their guidance, or it's one that I knew that they would probably be very receptive to do. I think all the time, the actions that I have today, and even after the scrimmage today, I showed the players film from a game in 2014 that I was involved in that I wanted to drive home a point, because part of past history is usually about what tomorrow's future is. And I remember specifically asking a young man by the name of Chris Maragos to move from wide receiver to safety for me at the University of Wisconsin, and he really didn't want to do it. I asked him to do it in bowl game preparation. He did it. Later became a all Big Ten safety and played in the NFL and won a Super Bowl and was a special teams captain. Played in the league, I believe, almost 10 years. And I always give him a hard time that, I like to see a cut of that check I helped him get, because if he would have stayed a wideout, he never would have made it. And then the flip side, there's so many guys. Jared Abadaris, when I asked him to move from quarterback to wide receiver, went on to play in the NFL. So I know those stories are coming here at the University of Illinois. They just have to evolve in front of us.
And then a follow-up again on Marquez. He is such a great athlete, like you said. Is something like playing both ways something that you'd be open to him doing, or no, with his injury history and what you're trying to do? Is that a possibility for a player like him?
Well, never say never. I need him to play one way first. Usually two-way players are guys that have great athleticism and shown that they've been able to do it, and then they go to the other side and can help out there. I think a lot of Marquez, we talk about him being, if he's injury prone, a lot of that has to be about how he builds his body, right? I mean, we gotta eat right, sleep right, act right, walk right, think right, and train right, and then recover the right way as well before we can become a consistent player. So a lot of Marquez's things will be how well he attacks the things on the football field, but also how he trains his body away from the field. And I've had conversations with him about that. And if he wants to get serious about it, then we'll get serious about him. So I think there's a lot of good things in the future. There's two-way players. One of the best ones I've ever been around, Terrence Newman, who was the Thorpe winner at Kansas State as a DB. I was a young coach. I was a co-coordinator, and I watched him evolve. In my first year there, in my second year, he was playing so well on defense, we suggested to Coach Snyder that he plays offense, and he went on to help us win a lot of games, double dipping. So I do know it's something that we can use, but it's a very special player that can do that. We can talk about it a lot, but you got to be a special player to do it at a winning level.
Thanks, Coach. Enjoy your Easter.
Thank you.
Coach, I'm curious about quarterbacks. Obviously, first live scrimmage. Everybody wants to know about the quarterbacks. Can you handicap your quarterback race after today's scrimmage?
A lot of good and bad. I think the thing that we all know is the quarterback is the one guy that's going to touch the ball in every play. And if that's going to be the case, they got to be able to protect the ball. So I think quarterbacks in general, whether it be the guy that started the first play of the scrimmage or the guy that ended the last play, they all have to be able to handle the ball efficiently and give us confidence as coaches that can happen. I think part of this process, learning a new offense for all of these guys, is understanding the nuances of playing good football, especially at the quarterback position. So how you receive the snap, how you hand off a ball to a running back or to a wide receiver, or whether it's a drop back pass or a play action pass or a bootleg. I will say this: there was a lot of positives from BP to Isaiah. Taylor did some good things. Deuce did some good things. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that these guys are all excited about it, but we just got to continue to move forward, correct yesterday's mistakes, and move forward on Tuesday. A couple of us, a couple of the cues, it's a little bit like watching Groundhog Day, right? It's the same stuff every day. And eventually we're going to move on to a different show, right? So we got to have better results, and we can't have the same repeated mistakes.
And with something like quarterback, coaches have different ways they do it. Some coaches like to name a starter coming out of spring for summer conditioning and everything else, that somebody knows what spot they're in. Someone will wait till the fall. How do you anticipate doing that with depth chart, things like that?
Robert, I appreciate the question. I wish I could give you the correct answer, but I just don't know what it is right now. So for that reason, we don't know. I've been involved in seasons where Russell Wilson was going to be the starter, and I could have told you and everybody else after the first practice that was going to be the deal. But at other points, I didn't know, right? My first Rose Bowl season, my first Big Ten championship season was really down to about 3 guys going into fall camp, and we didn't name a starter till the week of the first game, and it worked out very well for us. So I've done a little bit of everything. I'm not in any hurry. I think the name of the game for us right now, really a quarterback in every other position, is just to get better every day. Guys are going to begin to rise to the top, and when that happens, then they'll be duly rewarded. But right now, everybody's in a position battle.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Brad, hope you're well. Just defensively, you said usually the defense is in front of the offense. Just how are they adapting to your guys' scheme, and what have you seen from them through 5 practices?
Jeremy, they first off, they're playing physical. I like that. I think they're playing with their hands. We're asking them to do certain things defensively that probably goes against what maybe they have been conditioned to in the past. The way we play blocks, the way we play with our hands, the way we're able to do things in the run game. I think they're communicating very well. I'm going to tell you by far my favorite play of the scrimmage. I know you guys weren't there, but Jakari Norwood broke one loose over the left side and was sprinting for the end zone, and Christian Boback from the opposite side safety position came hauling over and made a diving tackle and stopped them, whether it was on the 8, 10, 12-yard line, whatever it was. It was a touchdown saving tackle, and that had nothing to do with anything more than the way his heart was wired and the way his mind was wired. And the result was we got him down. So on the flip side of it, Jakari did some really nice things. Jakari, has had a rough go of it the last week, had some family issues that he had to actually return to Florida and came back, and it's going through some things that everybody in life goes through, those ups and downs. Nothing to do with football, just life in general. And I really appreciated Jakari's effort out there today. And I think it's a great indicator of hopefully the level of intensity that we have on this team, that guys that are going and competing at that level on a scrimmage day will hopefully do the same thing in the fall.
Brett, I had a bigger picture. One here is the transfer portal was instituted after you went to the NFL. And I know you've kind of embraced it because you have to nowadays, but how does that change what you guys have to do? How has it changed college football?
Well, I think the transfer portal is twofold, right? So, Jeremy, I think the part that's the biggest difference, right? When I left, there was grad transfers. Now it's kind of grown in popularity. And I think, again, with grad transfers, you get 3 things. You get a graduate, right? To be a college graduate, I don't care where you're coming from, you have to be focused, you have to be determined, you have to be intelligent, and usually a certain level of maturity that that automatically comes into building. Grad transfer means you're graduating from somewhere, right? So grad transfers that come out of big time programs that have been in the college football playoffs, that have been at high level of college football. You may be a third string safety somewhere that could be a starter at multiple other schools. You might be a fourth year junior, all right, that played as a true freshman and then has gotten playing time that has diminished because, they just get over recruited. I think if those type of players are a little bit different, you also have grad transfers that are coming from other levels, Division II, maybe Division III, maybe FCS, that have played well, but not at this level. And they kind of want to test the waters and see where they're at. You have to make that gauge and determine what it is. So you got kind of two different worlds there with the grad transfer. And the other thing with the grad transfer is they're not poisoned by a lot of what I call recruiting glitter, right? So who has the best graphics, or who is able to, talk about, the last 20, seasons and, national championships and all this. Like, they want to focus on the now, which is what Illinois is about, right? I can't change what's happened in the past. I can only change what's in front of us. So those three reasons, right? Grad transfers are a lot more attractive, in my opinion, than a normal transfer. But there are great reasons for kids to transfer in, right? There's coaching changes, there's philosophy changes, offensive, defensive, or special team schemes. That opens up the world for that non-grad transfer that might be looking for the right reason. But I think you got to be guarded. Like, sometimes if kids run from, a situation they're in, maybe they don't want to stay and fight. You got to understand that might mean that there's an indicator that's what they're going to always do. We already have a situation here where we've had a kid that transferred out and might want to come back, right? So, I mean, there's already, these things are starting to pop up, and the world of college football has got to start to sort these things out. So it's a fun time. It's an exciting time. You got your access to a lot of really good players, but you also got to make sure you do a great evaluation. And then the other part for me, I've not made any bones about it. If the kid's from the state of Illinois that went somewhere else and he wants to come home and can help us win, amen, come on back. We got opportunities, we got places. So it's definitely something that we are looking into.
Thanks, Bret. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bret, may I ask you about special teams in the sense of what kind of competition you're seeing? You're either in practice or in the scrimmage, and specifically, are you seeing veteran guys trying to compete to make those types of teams, whether it's punt or kick or field goal kind of a situation?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's been, a slow process. We really, the first week, only worked 2 phases: field goal protection, field goal block, and then the other core unit was punt. We introduced kickoff coverage this week. So I think as a group of specialists, first on snappers, holders, and kickers, we got a pretty efficient group. I mentioned, obviously, McCord earlier, is a really, really good field goal kicker. Caleb Griffin has been very efficient as well. And plus, he's trying to double dip. I think he had one of our biggest receptions and runs today, definitely one of our best runs after catch, So he's a guy that's kind of dipping in both worlds, but really, really fun to watch that group go. At punter, obviously, we already have one of the best in the nation, and the competition that we have there has been good. I think as we move forward, the key things I'm looking for are these guys that maybe they're not a defensive starter, maybe they're not an offensive starter, but they could be a 4-core starter for us. Start on offense or on kickoff return, punt, and punt return. Those 4 core units, we're looking for a group of guys that can kind of set the energy level overall. I will, and I told our players from day one, starters will play on special teams. I know that was a little bit different than what they've been used to, but if someone can help us, on 3rd and 8, I'm pretty sure they can help us on kickoff. So I'm really looking forward to building those 4 core units up.
And my big picture follow-up, Bret, is I think I saw something this week with Coach Gundy over at Oklahoma State saying he'd like to play somebody else in the spring, whether it's in a spring game or a practice scenario. You have experience in the NFL recently about bringing in organized practices against another team, and and you've seen it work. Can it work at this level, in your opinion? Is that something you'd like to see as a rule change, as a possibility?
Yeah, in my previous life as a college coach, I was on the rules committee, and it was actually one of the very things I brought up was like, if you could, I don't know, usually ADs get nervous about 3 things, right? They get nervous about, just the parameters of logistics of moving people, the cost of that, and then obviously the effects of the student body, right? So I think if we could stay locally, like for us to compete against, I don't know if it would be Northwestern or, maybe somebody out of conference that you're not competing with in the fall, I think that would excite a lot of coaches. One time only, you know, a controlled scrimmage even. Maybe it's not a full-fledged game, but maybe it's something like what we did today. Just the coaches mutually agree to participate, just to go against a different body, a different team, invite a little bit of competitive nature. I think we're a long ways away from that in college football, but I think it would gather a lot of support.
Thanks, Brett. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Coach, I got a couple scheduling questions. I don't have any control, but you opened against a conference team. Do you like that idea? Is that a little different than maybe non-com that you normally would play?
You mean like in the spring right now?
No. In the fall, you opened against a conference team.
Oh.
Does that good with you? You care about that? Tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited. I think that's one element that has changed since I left the league last, and then was in the SEC. That there was a huge difference or contrast there in scheduling philosophy, and I think the part that jumped out to me when I came back here was to move some of these quote unquote interleague games, and in this case, obviously a divisional game against Northwestern at the beginning of the year. I think it's good for college football. I think it's good for the Big Ten. Allows them to come to the forefront on some marquee matchup games. So I think this is a really good move by the conference. I think we always got to keep in mind, to be quite honest, like I'm not speaking on anybody's behalf of mine, but I think if we're all in the race, right? If we're all in the race for college football playoffs and national championships, everybody should be probably on the same stage, right? Like, so we're playing obviously a number of conference games. Every conference is a little bit different, and I don't know if that is the level that everybody would want to be at. I think obviously conferences have the decision to make that up, but I think if we're all competing on the same level for the same thing, we should all be playing by the same kind of rules or the same kind of schedule. So let the other people figure that part out, but I do think that's something to be just.
Coach, you real quick about your non-conference schedule. You go to Virginia, Power 5 school, and then you got 2 non-Power 5s coming here. Just your thoughts on this? I know you have nothing to do with what was set up, but maybe talk about the teams you're playing, then look down the road. What teams would you like to play?
Well, again, Josh and his crew is going to have their hand in that. All I do is play by the rules and go out there and play the game. I think overall, to play some Power 5 non-conference games, builds up great interest for the fan base, which is great. And also for our players, I have a lot of respect for Virginia and what they've accomplished through the years and what Coach has done, especially in his tenure there. But I would also say that, to play the non-Power 5s are intriguing for those conferences as well to play at this level. UTSA has obviously had a lot of really good success last year. Their offensive coordinator was with me for 5 years at Arkansas, one of my best friends. So it's kind of interesting to look at that. I'd watched them during the course of the fall, not knowing that this whole situation was going to happen. I believe they have a huge number of returning offensive, defensive starters, so that'll be a tough challenge in itself. So college football, anybody get anybody on any given Saturday, right? A couple years ago when Michigan got knocked out by Appy State and like the tidal wave of emotions, and then that really set the stage for several other of those type of moments after that. So I think we all got to be prepared on any given Saturday.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Coach. I think that wraps it up today. Appreciate your time and comments.
Absolutely. That was what you were getting mad at Bob about? Was that question?
No.
Bob wants to see more practice, Coach, and
hey, we all do. Hey, that's a great point, Bob. And to be quite honest, the one advantage we have, right? Think about this, right? I want Illinois to win our opener, right? I want to win a football game, and one of the great advantages we have as a new staff is no one knows what we're doing right now, correct? And
Either.
I know, and that's not a bad thing, right? As much as I'd love to let you in, you're probably going to tell somebody. So, like, I think
No, wouldn't tell us all. Wouldn't tell us all.
Coach, what you don't know, Coach, is we wouldn't tell anybody anyway. We wouldn't know enough to tell anybody anyway.
Now, there's one guy I believe is Lauren Tate. I would believe that you would. But it's not that the other guy, it's just somebody knows somebody. Somebody's going to tell somebody. And
I get you. That's fine.
That's really
Next year.
absolutely.
Happy
Next year,
Easter.
I'll let you watch film with me, Bob. You can come in and watch film, and then
I would happily. You tell me what is going on. I'll love to do it. Thanks,
That
Coach.
was off the record. That was awesome. Hey, I hope everybody finds their Easter eggs tomorrow. Happy Easter.